in uniform. One of them goes all the way back. '70s, and one just had a superstar retire. Those are the three for one team. That's perennial American, perennial, yes. Yeah. Ty Cobb is one. Who's the star from the '60s? Oh, we're on? K-Line. And then Miguel Cabrera. All right, guys, we're on. I just want to anyone who wore blue shirts today did the right thing. Guy, you're in the blue shirt? Yeah. Like the good ones are? Yeah. All right.
Oh. I guess we should go. Did you get the email, Lance? Yeah. Did you get the email?
You ready, Margo? You good? Oh. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the July 16th, 2024 regular meeting of the Township of Fairfield's Board of Adjustment. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
You're not going to sing it, right?
I could do better than she did. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Steve, can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Moriano.
Here.
Mr. Honorata. Here. Mr. Metallo.
Here.
Mr. Baskinger.
Here.
Mr. Travato. Mr. Carmignola.
Here.
Mr. Iania.
Here.
Mr. Ivaron.
Here.
Mr. Fiatarolo. Chairman Lipari.
Here. Both Mr. Travato and Mr. Fiatarolo both expressed their disappointment, but their family vacations come first. Also in attendance tonight is our Board Attorney Lou Rago, our Township Engineer and Board Secretary Steve Burry, our Burgess Associates Representative Steve Leiden, and our transcription by Margot Biblin. Our next regularly scheduled meeting is August 20th, 2024. Let it be stated that adequate notice for the time and date of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and delivered to the Star Ledger and the Progress. Also, no case will be allowed to start its presentation after 11 p.m. or if Jerry has anything to say after 7:35. Okay. On to approval of minutes from the May 21st, 2024 regular meeting. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Metallo, second.
I'll second it.
Mr. Carmignola, roll call.
Mr. Metallo.
Yes.
Mr. Carmignola.
Yes.
Mr. Iania.
Yes.
Mr. Ivaron.
Yes.
Chairman Lipari.
Yes. I'll show you. Also, memorialization of resolutions, application 2024-2, Sean and Lisa Marshall, 2 Annette Drive, block 4002, lot 12, came before us for C variances that were approved. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Iania, second.
I'll second it.
Second it. Who was that?
He did.
Mr. Carmignola, roll call, please.
Mr. Moriano.
Yes.
Mr. Metallo.
Yes.
Mr. Carmignola.
Yes.
Mr. Iania.
Yes.
Mr. Ivaron.
Yes.
Chairman Lipari.
Yes. Application 2024-6, Paul Cafone, 8 Laurel Place, block 901, lot 4, requested C variances. They were approved. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Mr. Iania, second.
Second.
Mr. Metallo, roll call, please.
Mr. Moriano.
Yes.
Mr. Metallo.
Yes.
Mr. Carmignola.
Yes.
Mr. Iania.
Yes.
Mr. Ivaron.
Yes.
Chairman Lipari.
Yes. Application 2024-4, Ahmad Al-Shami, 368 Fairfield Road, block 2701, lot 12, requested A variance that was approved. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Mr. Iania, second.
I'll second it.
Mr. Ivarone, roll call, please.
Mr. Moriano.
Yes.
Mr. Metallo.
Yes.
Mr. Carmignola.
Yes.
Mr. Iania.
Yes.
Mr. Ivaron.
Yes.
Chairman Lipari.
Yes. A couple other pieces of business before our application tonight. Under new business tonight listed was application 2024-7, Sylvia Zamer, Camp Lane, they have withdrawn their application. They will not be asking for an A variance. Also tonight, Counselor, if you'd like this to come up, we have an old business scheduled, 2023-5, Daniel Sirica, 81 Passaic Ave, Block 18.01, Lot 1.02, major site plans, C and D variances, carried from April 16th. Counselor.
John Key, I, on behalf of the applicant, Shiaka Construction, asking for this to be carried. We have retained a planner that's reviewing the prior proceedings, and we'll be prepared with a report, and if we could have 30 days, that would be perfect. We waive any time constraints, and we ask that you make the announcement for the public to know.
Okay, does anybody have any comments?
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Mr.
I don't
Ianni.
know if it's relevant or not, but Mr. Kiaya just said that it was on behalf of Siaka Construction. But
Correct.
under old business, we have Daniel Sirica.
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
that relevant?
It's Sirica, right?
Yes,
Well,
Daniel's-
yeah.
Daniel Sirica.
Yeah, it's, you know, Counselor, the side of his truck and some of the names are different
I just didn't know if that was
to
relevant.
protect the innocent on
It is
some of the other
relevant.
companies, so there's a couple different names. All right, yeah, no problem, Counselor, I don't have a problem with it, just as long as, we get going on it and we get the planner's report that you're doing, we get it in time so Burgess has, and we all have time to digest any changes that might have been made to the planner's report that you had from the last time they were before us.
Could I ask who your planner, who you intend the planner to be?
He happens to be in the room. He's the planner for this next application,
Okay.
Anthony Marucci.
Thank you very much.
Great.
If the board is so willing, we should probably have a specific date in August, I assume, and so we can
Yeah.
carry it till that time.
The next regular meeting is August 20th. Let me verify.
And you're waiving all time constraints.
Yes. Thank you,
Okay.
Counselor.
We're good with that, Lou?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Counselor.
Thank you.
Okay, also, in case anybody is here tonight or watching on TV, for application 2024-3, West Essex FC, well, they were supposed to be here requesting C and D variance. There was a bit of a notice issue.
Yes.
So they're gonna be carried to the next month.
Right, they notified that they would like to be heard and
Right.
on the schedule, but of course, they'll have to notice correctly prior to that meeting.
Okay, so they're out. And with that, we go on to our one piece of business tonight, old business, application 2023-6, Route 46 East LLC, 460 Route 46 East, Block 3802, Lot 22.01, requesting C variance and site plan. Counselor, your ball. Yeah. Oh, that's right, Marty, okay. Marty will be recusing himself. Thank you, Marty, for coming in. That will leave Mr. Ivorone, Mr. Iania as voting members tonight. For Mr. Travato and Mr. Moriano, we do have 7. Counselor.
Thank you, Chair. So I represent Route 46 East Land LLC. The operator on the property is All Pro Car Care. We appeared before. We had testimony here tonight, and those I plan to have testify is only Mr. Marucci, our planner and engineer. He knows he's still under oath, and I think he will update the board on the changes made. Before we just get to him, I just wanted to let the board know that here today, representing the applicant, is one of the owner's 2 children. We have Glenn Palladino here and Sam Palladino there. With that, I think it's appropriate that we bring you up to speed on what changes have been made.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Mr. Marucci, as your counsel said, you're still under oath.
Yes, sir.
I'm assuming your licenses are still in effect and in good standing?
My licenses are in effect and in good standing.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Marucci, you've made changes to the plans. There was commentary and discussion in the last hearing about the signs, the shed, and the vacuums. do you want to start somewhere else? I'll just leave it to you to
No, that's
update the
fine.
board.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. Based on the last hearing, we took your advice, we sat down with the applicants, and we made some changes. The plans that are on my easel this evening and also were submitted to the board, the plan is revised to June 20th, 2024, and the revisions are that we now show all of the self-service vacuums on the west side of the parking lot facing the McDonald's side. What that did was it relieved one of the variances, which was structures in the front yard. So that was the basic change for the vacuums. We relocated the shed and the refuse dumpster, and the way this works also is that now the central vacuum is in that area where it's cut out in the parking lot, and that's all surrounded by existing vegetation also. So it's all of the vacuums are now buffered. The second sheet, again, based on the comments from the board, we revised the sizes of the proposed signs. The sign on Route 46 is now 70 square feet, which is twice what is permitted, but it's a significant reduction. And in that 70 square feet is the EMC, the emergency message sign also. And again, the sign on Fairfield Road has also been reduced in size based on the comments we received from the board. I did receive a revised planning report from Mr. Sabo dated July 9th, and also one from Mr. Berry, July 9th, and I'm in agreement with both those reports. As a matter of fact, in Mr. Szabo's report, he actually mentions that we have eliminated the front yard setback. So with that said, I believe that in my planning report, I believe that I've testified already that I believe we meet the positive and negative criteria for the variances that we're proposing. And I'd just like to emphasize the fact that when this car wash first came into being in 1996, the zoning board at that time said this was a particularly suitable site for the car wash, and these are accessory structures related to the car wash facility. And again, I'll emphasize, I'm a proponent of the electronic messaging sign. Yes, it is for the applicant's use, but the township does have access to it. And if it saves one person, in my opinion, I think that any messages that the township would have displayed on there, whether it's amber alerts or silver alerts or any type of messaging, in my opinion, I think it's a plus for the township also. And that's really all I have to say.
Yeah, just one. You also, I saw that you've reduced the amount of the new type of vacuum cleaners from 21 to 16.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I do have a question for Steve. You and the planner, I must not understand it, but aren't those half of those vacuum cleaners still technically in the front yard? If you were to draw a line from the front of the building to the back, those aren't they technically in the front yard, or is side yard front
Yeah,
yard?
any of the stalls that are breaking the plane of the building, that's technically in the front yard.
So would
They're in a side parking stall on the side of the
Yeah,
building,
I mean,
but
I
as
like
far
where
as the
they
front
are.
yard
You know.
variance, that
So
would-
technically, does that mean that we would still be
Well,
requesting the front?
Again, I go by Mr. Szabo's
Yeah,
report.
no, I
We
know.
said that we eliminated the front yard
Yeah, that's-
setback.
I believe the front yard is defined as any open space between the principal building and the front property line.
So Steve, I know this is John's report, and I know you're subbing in for him, but whether it says it in his report or not about eliminating the front yard, the variance for the front yard, it seems to me that we would probably be leaving that in and just having them request that.
I think that would be the safer approach, and it's also one that would give the applicant the most protection. So yes.
We agree.
Great. Your clients do know that there are, from Mr. Sabo's prior report, there are electronic messaging sign rules and regulations. We don't need to put them on as a condition because they're rules anyway, but just, you know, so they're aware that,
Understood.
okay. Do we have any other questions for the planner, engineer from the members?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Anthony, the shed area that you have there, is that gonna be enclosed where the dumpster is?
Well, the shed is.
Well, I'm sorry, where the dumpster's gonna, is that gonna be enclosed with a fence or anything?
If we don't show it, I'm gonna agree that we will enclose it. It
Here's
should
my
be
other question,
enclosed.
is where it's located right now, will a truck be able to get that dumpster and dump it? Because to me, for you to get a truck in there, it looks like it's off on a bad spot.
Actually, no, because the truck can come in and back right up to it, or even come in forwards and pick it up. There's no really, there's no,
Alright, so you worked it out, so it'll be okay, it's easy for you.
yes,
Alright, and then the motors are also located behind that shed for the vacuum cleaners?
yes.
Okay, do these things become hot, or are they a detriment to any little kids or anything that may run near that? Because my concern is, mom's vacuuming the car, kids get out and walk around, and you know how they can.
I actually went by there tonight just to verify, and it's completely landscaped. You won't, no one would ever see them, but
No, I'm not worried about them seeing.
if that is a concern, I think we should fence it in.
My concern is hot motor, because they are motors, am I correct?
Right.
They're gonna be running.
You're right.
Little kid gets out there and just goes over there and touches it, because there's no fence around it or anything to protect it, am I right?
I agree that there should be a fence around.
All right, would you be willing to put one in there for it, just
Yes.
for safety?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Anthony, where was that fence specifically? Oh, like,
Well, however they want to work it out, just a fence in the motor area, I guess?
Got it.
or-
Wants the
Okay.
central vac unit.
Yeah, the back equipment, I guess, it's in the,
Mr. Palladino, you were sworn in prior and
Yes,
spoke.
yes.
In your experiences at your other places, do they get hot or
Well,
the cabinet
We
around it?
currently have one central vacuum unit. It's for the detail center.
Right.
That's fenced in.
Okay.
It's on the side of the building right next to
You have
that
it?
thing.
All right.
That one is fenced in. So, I mean, you do make a valid point with that.
well, I was just thinking, like, the kids are out or something, and
Yeah, I mean,
listen, I seen it there today. I mean,
Right.
I'm gonna be honest with you,
Yeah.
I was on your property for about 25 minutes, just
Right.
going around in circles, because they were talking about landscaping there. I see the lady get out of her car, and I see the girl get out, and all of a sudden, she's wandering around, I'm like, wait a minute, this can happen on this side here.
Right.
You never know. you know?
Right. I mean, I've seen other car washes. They don't have them fenced in. I don't know. I can't say how hot they get.
Whether
But
it's,
it's a
whether
good,
it's
it's a good point.
whether
And
it's a heat issue or not, I think it should be fenced in.
Yeah, just a little gate, or
Just for
just so that
for
kids can't get
safety
near, that'd be
purposes.
great.
Absolutely.
Thank you, John.
Do you have to specify height? Are we doing short chain link fence or, you know?
A 4-foot fence, I guess the motors are how
4-foot
high? How high are
chain
the
link? I
motors,
don't know.
Anthony? They're on the plans here, right?
Oh, I mean, nothing more than a 4-foot fence just to
Yeah, I
keep
think that's
kids
enough
out
to
from
do
it.
it.
It doesn't need to be elaborate.
and not to exceed 4 feet. That way they can.
Whatever you think
Yeah.
we want,
something needs to be, it needs to be fenced in now. So,
Yeah.
And no shorter than 4 foot.
right?
All right.
Okay. Very good. Any other questions for for planning or engineering or from the owner's representative?
But you know what, Ant, I do have one more thing, I'm
Sure.
sorry.
That's all right.
They were talking about landscaping in one of the reports here. Now, I was on the property today, it looks great, it looks great. The only thing maybe around the sign, because we're trying to make 46 look a little more aesthetic, you're gonna have the sign out there, maybe if we put some shrubs around there or something, just to, instead of seeing that pole sticking out of the ground.
That was one of the reasons I went by there this evening. The parking lot itself is all buffered with shrubbery, and then it's just lawn area up to Route 46. I concur that shrubbery around the base of the pole would be a plus,
Beautiful.
and I agree with that.
And so what we could do with that is we can you could speak to Mr. Burry about getting some kind of landscape design plan in. Doesn't have to be elaborate, just something there to break it up. And,
I'll revise the plan for Mr. Burry.
okay. Any other questions for the application? Seeing none, I'd like to open it up to the audience. Any questions for Mr. Mariucci, Mr. Palladino? Seeing none, bring it back to you, Counselor.
Thank you. At this time, we'd like to thank the board very much for hearing our application over the last two meeting dates. We, at this time, would like to submit the site plan, June 20, 2024, with some conditional changes that we would be making as a conditional approval, and that would be for having an enclosure around the dumpster, an enclosed no more than 4-foot-high fence around the vacuum motors, and landscaping around the front sign along Route 46. We've had extensive testimony, and we've had planning discussion. I think the evidence is clear that the board has the authority to grant these variances that we're requesting, including the front setback variance, which we're going to leave in our request. At this time, we humbly request for a resolution of approval.
Thank you, Counselor. So I'm going to bring it back to the board for comments or anyone from the audience have any comments or opinions on this application? Seeing none, bring it back to the board for a motion or for conversation and comments. I'd just like to say a couple quick things. Number one, I'm about to start my filibuster, Mr. Honorata. It'll take about an hour and a half. I'll start with the history of Major League Baseball. No, but in all seriousness, this is the attorney, the professionals, and the owners of this property and this application. This is a prototypical melding of a good business and what they want to do to survive and continue, and yet showing the concerns of the board that we try to protect this town. They listened to our concerns, they understood them, they kept some of the things in there that they need. The sign reduction was amazing, not only in the front, which was most important, but also in the back, because Fairfield Road is so low lit in size of signs and everything, even lower lit than 46, obviously. I just want to say to this whole application that I personally, and I think the board appreciates greatly your desire to want to continue to be married in this town between the business and the town. So thank you. And with that, we'll call for any other comments or a motion.
I'll make a motion on application 2023-6, Route 46 East LLC, block 3802, lot 2201.01, that the application as revised and discussed this evening with the conditions discussed be approved.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll second it.
Second, Mr. Iania. Roll call, please.
Mr. Honorata.
Yes.
Mr. Vitale.
Yes.
Mr. Bassinger.
Yes.
Mr. Carmignola.
Yes.
Mr. Ianni.
Yes.
Mr. Iveron.
Yes.
Chairman LaFarge.
Yes. Good luck, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And continuing, can I have a motion to pay the bills that are in our packet?
Make a motion.
Mr. Baskins, your second.
I'll second it.
Mr. Carmignola, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Make a motion to close? Mr.
To close.
In a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're out of here.
Did a good thing tonight, Mr. Chairman.